Sea of Remnants is the upcoming game that NetEase is making. It's being developed under Joker Studios, who is also responsible with the game we know as Identity V. This new game looks frankly incredibly promising. It's an open ocean, free-to-play, voyage-themed RPG game where you play as a puppet folk pirate. It was officially announced on the 15th of May and is set to release sometime in 2026. While the game may be a year away, that isn't stopping me from being hyped. So I took out my magnifying glass and overanalyzed every piece of media I could find on NetEase's new upcoming game, Sea of Remnants. I'm going to go in order of release, so let's start this off with the very first media that was published. It's interestingly a music video, which is a pretty fun way to announce a game if you ask me. I won't play the full thing or the music that goes along with it, so if you want to watch that for yourself, I'll have it linked in the description. The first look trailer admittedly doesn't show us as much as the gameplay one, which we'll get to, but there are a few things that are flat out told to us and also things we're able to deduce. Starting off, we get some visual eye candy. The aesthetics and animation in this trailer really is top notch. The only real heavy lore related thing we see is actually at the very beginning. A bottle filled with mysterious pink liquid floats along the sea and this lovely lady retrieves it, clearly marking it as something of importance. After investigating it closer, she uncorks the bottle and pours the liquid into the sea. One might be able to conclude that this could be remnant poured into the sea. During our band's playing, we catch a glimpse of this really cool, albeit ominous character. The silhouette looks feminine to me, with a large hat, long hair, and what looks like it could be a big poofy dress. Obviously though, these giant worm-like creatures swarm the boat as well, clearly either part of this main silhouette as one big sea creature or some sort of companions. It's important to note how big this character is. You can obviously use the boat as a size reference, but looking closer you can see what looks like cages hanging from this character's hat/head. And comparing those with the boat, we can easily tell that these aren't cages for animals, they're for puppet folk, and these clearly look occupied as well. After about a minute into the trailer, we get a glimpse of a new character, sinking into the ocean. We know from the later trailer that this seems to be our MC, or main character, and interestingly, he seems to be crying out that same pink fluid. Again, my theory is that this is the remnant that makes up the fabled Sea of Remnants, but we'll just have to wait and see if that theory ends up being true. Mr. Big Hair is clearly also talking to our MC in this scene, and this remnant is also leaking from his eyes and mouth. We then see this big ship sail past, and who's piloting it other than our main character himself. What's interesting to me is that the interaction the characters have in this scene clearly seems to insinuate a positive relationship, potentially acquaintances or even good friends. During this little credit scene, we get some wide shots of our main character's ship sailing through and towards different locations. While this trailer doesn't include gameplay footage, we can still reasonably deduce that these locations will all be in the game to some degree, whether as just more islands to sail to or potentially more story related. This volcano landscape is particularly eye-catching, mostly due to this ominous silhouette in the background. I personally can't identify this well, but it's safe to assume that it's some sort of sea creature. The gameplay trailer later shows us some really cool combat of a big sea creature, so it's safe to assume we might get the chance to fight whatever this is in the background here. Adding on to the collection of potential sea creatures we will be fighting, we also see this large, really cool anglerfish. This flying creature we see is seemingly helping us. Keep this guy in mind since he comes back later on. We end the trailer with serene shots of the landscape and our MC sailing through various areas. Some of these shots heavily implicate things like natural wildlife and treasure hunting, which is something we could have already expected, obviously, but is essentially confirmed here regardless. The very last scene of this video both has heavy lore implication and also ends up catching my attention. This scene is really interesting. We see two of our band members collecting their remnant in a bottle before they cork it and throw it out into the sea. This could just be a scene the creators decided to make for funsies, but considering how it's intentionally placed at the end of the video, and also the fact that it loops back around to give us some context at the beginning of the video, it feels like it holds some importance. Here's what we can infer from this. Sailors find these bottles drifting into the sea, and for whatever reason, potentially to give back to the sea, they pour out the liquid into the waters. Then, later on, the same sailors fill up the bottle they find with their own remnant, and throw it back into the sea for another group of sailors to find, and the loop continues. Obviously, this is theorizing, this is just speculation, but I'd argue this conclusion is pretty solid so far. The gameplay trailer is where we really get some spicy information. It was shown off during the 2025 State of Play, and quite clearly has a good bit of hype around it already. NetEase, for the love, please don't ruin this game. We start this trailer with an unnamed bland puppet folk walking along the seabed. It's fair to assume this could potentially be where the game starts us off in. It might be a stretch, but with the way the sand almost looks like an intentional path, and the sun shines through this particular spot, it looks like it will end up being something we discover for ourselves when the game releases. And given that it's at the start of the trailer, assuming it could be close to or at the start of the game is pretty fair. In the chaos of the wrecked ships around this puppet folk, these red flags stand out to me. Our guy here swims past a sinking ship, clearly trying to reach the surface, before seemingly losing his breath. We see the sketchy, glitchy animation play, which has been a recurring theme game, especially when Remnant is involved, and what can only be the end of this puppet folk. The real interesting things start after though. We can see two puppet folk characters, one looking to be a doctor, and the other a girl with stars on her cheeks. I point this out because this character is recurring and clearly story important, similar to our main character. Speaking of, the next scene is with our main character and this same girl with stars on her cheeks. In the background before the MC hits this sick dance move, we can see two important things. First, we see these guards in red coats, and this red flag. This symbol becomes clearer in later scenes, but I believe it looks similar to a sun insignia. After this little fight, we see gameplay of the ship, and while this particular scene doesn't show anything super crazy, we do get to see this, which to me looks like a campfire. It to me seems like this is probably some sort of respawn point, or where you spawn in when you get off the boat. This island seems important as well. The shape of this rock formation looks like a giant shell, and it's clearly hollow, potentially hiding a boss fight. This next scene shows the ship following a magenta stream, and while I can't really deduce what this is actually doing, it's clearly enchanting the ship in some way. This goofy little scene shows us a quick form of fast transportation, with our MC jumping into a cannon and firing off, using a parachute to sail through the sky. This next set of scenes is interesting to me. First off, we have our MC walking through what looks like ruins towards the statue. Interestingly enough, this smaller statue glows slightly, showing us that this is some sort of collectible or interactable. This next scene shows us a bit of parkour, but more interestingly, we see three things. First off, to the right, a small glowing chest, and to the left, a monster, clearly an enemy guarding a bigger chest. This entire scene reminds me a lot of Honkai Star Rail, which makes sense later on. This last scene shows more parkour, another chest, and at the end of the room, a door. These scenes overall and the way the entire runes are structured reminds me of the domains from Genshin Impact. Maybe these are something similar. Next up, we get some important information. We see what looks like some sort of outpost with the same color scheme and symbol associated with the people our main character was fighting earlier on. We get a closer view of what looks like a more established outpost or potential town of this faction. Activating this obelisk, our MC creates a bridge out of thin air. To me, this obelisk looks really clearly powered by Remnant, with the same color and similar glowy floaty effects. Next, our MC absolutely destroys this guy. Next, our MC performs the sneak attack, and this cryptic pop-up shows on screen afterwards. My theory is that this is calculating how much you get quote-unquote rewarded. This could be in experience points or more likely money, due to the visuals of the coins and the sound effects. We then get to see our first preview of the ship combat. These clearly are some sort of NPCs shooting at our ship. And then we get to see the same creature we see in the other trailer. Surely it's not a coincidence that it shows up twice, and both times happen to be while we're in combat, right? Then we get a really cool reveal. Our ship heads to this mound of gold and treasure, only for it to be revealed that this is a giant sea creature, clearly a king crab. We then see the combat we can expect from this fight, from giant exploding balls to water tornadoes, all while a crew shoots cannons off. I mean, you can't tell me this doesn't look insanely fun. This reveal is also another boss fight. First off, props to the animation. This is so flowy and pretty. This mermaid character does what can only be described as an ultimate animation, and this is where we get to see how this game also ends up tying back to Honkai Star Rail. The combat looks frankly identical in its setup. After this attack is finished, we can see this confusing and very weird scene. I honestly don't know what to make of this. The parallels between the scenes make me want to think that these characters are connected, but they have very little visual connections, and it makes me not confident in saying anything yet. I mean, the mermaid and this demon lady both have pointed ears, but their eyes, nose, and chin don't match up at all. At first, I thought this could be a second form, or maybe a phase 2 of the boss fight, but the scene itself gives off more lore-heavy vibes as opposed to gameplay vibes. The last scene of this trailer is really interesting to me. I know I said at the beginning it could potentially be showing the beginning of the game, but I also think this could be showing it as well. With the classic tropes of waking up at the edge of the beach, collecting your first weapon, and starting in a rundown looking location, this entire scene practically screams press WASD to move around. The last thing I want to point out is that the girl with stars on her cheek is in the background, solidifying her even more as an important character. The very last thing I want to talk about and go over here is the Steam page. If you haven't visited it already, it tells us some pretty valuable information while also giving us really interesting and cool screenshots of the game, from landscape shots, different interiors, and even gameplay. The screenshots alone are super interesting. Let's look at what the Steam page says though. Sea of Remnants is a visually rich ocean adventure RPG. As a puppet folk sailor seeking lost memories, you'll brave dynamic seas, battle strange monsters, build your fleet, bond with 300 plus companions, and shape the evolving pirate city of Orbtopia through every choice you make. The game is tagged as adventure, casual, RPG, and strategy, which makes sense with what we've seen, but arguably one of the biggest information drops is hidden under the content section of the Steam page. It includes interactive elements, in-game purchases, chance-based in-game purchases, online interactivity, and in-game chat. NetEase said, "You think you're getting a game from us that doesn't have some sort of gacha system?" Truthfully though, we can probably expect this to be a gacha system similar to Genshin and Honkai, With how the gameplay and combat looks similar to Honkai Star Rail, I really wouldn't be surprised if we use those bottles of Remnant to try and get new characters to add to our team. The About section of the Steam page is kinda long, so let's just read through the whole thing. Legend says that beyond the moon lies another sea, a place where all questions are answered. When the sailor opens their eyes once more, will they see the glass bottle floating in magenta currents, or the butterfly perched on a rusted mast? In Sea of Remnants, you play as a sailor who has lost all memory, embarking on a strange and wondrous ocean voyage alongside a mysterious girl, hoping to recover what was forgotten. A ship of stubborn souls. No sailor sets out without hoping to reach the Sea of Remnants. In this open world journey, you'll recruit a crew of diverse puppet folk allies, build your ship with custom parts and cannons, and assemble teams for exploration and battle. Whether you act on impulse or spare your enemies, stay home or chase profit across the currents, your smallest choices ripple outwards, with over 300 companions and rival factions reacting to your decisions. Orbtopia's evolving cityscape and the ever-shifting sea are shaped by your will. Orbtopia, a pirate's safe haven. No sailor wants to drift forever. Orbtopia is the liveliest pirate city on the sea. Failed voyages end here, washed back by the tide. Repair your ship, upgrade gear, and prep for the next departure. Or take it slow. Craft a rare, high-fashion gear for your pirate crew. Open a shop with a trusted NPC. Pirates always have a lot of plates spinning. As night falls, sizzling oil crackles from street stalls, coin pouches jingle from another lucky trade, and someone just lost their last chip at the mahjong table. Tackle boxes snap shut at the clatter. Who's glaring green-eyed at the angler now? There, cats rule the alleyways. Roosters itch to set sail. A pirate gorilla rises from obscurity. A parrot translates between beast and man. Orbtopia breathes in noise, spice, and a little chaos. A reckless voyage awaits. No sailor faces uncharted waters without awe. Unpredictable seas and dynamic weather mean no two journeys are alike. One moment, the skies are calm. The next, a storm splits the heavens. Sea beasts shimmer beneath whirlpools. Leviathans descend through lightning and cloud. Step ashore onto volcanic, jungle, or sun-bleached islands, or uncover eerie ruins in strange tribal grounds. Cue the electric guitar. No sailor dreams of playing it safe. Built on real ocean physics, creature behaviors, and environmental systems, Sea of Remnants blends stylized animated visuals with sharp-edged comic book flair, vibrant graffiti energy, and absurdist glitch aesthetics. A sensory feast. Fight wildly imaginative bosses, discover eerie legends, chase mysterious treasures tucked into remote wilderness. It's a pirate adventure that's wild, romantic, and utterly punk. Key features include endless loops of memory and loss. Every bond you form will resurface at the journey's end in the Sea of Remnants, a place where memories cost everything. Welcome to Orbtopia. From fishing to cooking to music, mahjong, and alchemy, slacking off is the true profession of Orbtopia's pirates. Turn-based strategy meets team synergy. Form your dream pirate crew, train them in hidden professions, and unlock powerful skills to tip the tide of turn-based combat. Multiple combat modes, infinite chaos, launch raids in real time, battle bizarre sea monsters, and engage in dazzling close-quarters duels. The ocean never sleeps. The ocean and the city, both punk. Don't fear failure. Every journey connects a beginning and an end. The harbor is just as punk and romantic as you. The memories of past voyages flow together as glowing magenta currents, linking every island, sea monster lair, and distant port. Another memory bottle sinks into the sea, scattering radiant ripples across the tide. And remember, all seas lead to one mysterious destination, the Sea of Remnants, where truth awaits. That's about all I can talk about for now. There more likely won't be any new reveals for a little while, but when something big does get revealed, be it gameplay, lore, or even potential beta testing, believe me, I will talk about it as soon as I can. If you're like me and are also excited for NetEase's new game, consider giving this video a like and subscribe. I tend to make videos on asymmetrical horror games here on YouTube, but I also plan on making content on Sea of Remnants when it releases next year. So if you want to see more of that, subscribing to my channel and turning on the notifications is the best way to know when I post more content. Also, consider joining the Discord. When this video is up, I'll have made a new text channel specifically for talking about Sea of Remnants, so if you want to chat about the game with others who are also excited for it, then the Discord server might be right for you. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you're excited for Sea of Remnants, and I will see you in the next one.